All right. Hello, everybody. We are going to look at number 2, which I believe is the old par 3 for the expert tournament. And I think the only thing you're going to need here is probably a sniper. That's what I'm going to suggest going with. If you pick up the new balls, they are going to be great, especially for this hole. I'm half tempted to just, pick up a few myself. I definitely want, at least one for the collection, no question. But if you see if you want to know my take on these stats, these are very great balls. Highly worth picking up. That wind resistance 4, it basically halves your wind. You can see the stat that I'm showing you right now. In addition to that, it has Kingmaker power, 7% farther. So, I don't take too much emphasis on side spin. But on certain holes, especially these new ones, I'm going to talk about side spin. And probably, if you guys saw the movie balls, these have the same wind effect, one less power, but side spin. So there's going to be a few holes that I'm going to, tell you guys that, the side spin is kind of important. And we're probably going to use a more side spin ball, either a Kingmaker or a movie ball. They're about the same. The good thing about the movie is it gives up one of the power and, puts it in the wind resistance, which instead of 35 becomes 45. Every little bit helps. I used kind of the theory that the more minimal that you have to move the arrow, the more likely you are to make the shot. The farther you have to move, the more variables that come into play. So the littler the wind is, the less you have to move the arrow, which raises your percentage that you're going to make the shot. And for the most part, that is a 100% true statement. The less that you have to do, the less work that you have to do, the easier it is to make the shot. That's kind of the theory that it takes. And it doesn't mean that moving it 20 rings, you're not going to make the shot. Just the percentage that you're going to make it, if you have to go 1 ring, is going to be far greater than having to go, even 5 rings. That doesn't mean that you're going to be, 5 times more likely to make it. But, by any sense, moving the arrow less is a good thing. So using high wind resistant ball. And if you want to take a look at Mummy, this is basically a Mummy ball. So these new balls are replacement Mummies. You can see wind resistance, power, side spin. And let me show you. Wind resistance, power, side spin, all equal. So these are replacement Mummies for you guys. And Mummies are very great balls. You have seen me use them on quite a few Masters tournaments. I usually don't break them out on anything lower than Master. But if you don't have a lot of balls, like I do, no pun intended, of course, but they are the next best thing if you don't have, every other option available. Eyeball, turkey ball, bobbles, but you can see, just by looking at my packs, I am getting very low on these balls. They are not putting out 5-win balls anymore. So 4-win balls could become the new trend, and taking advantage of that can be a very good thing for you guys. So here you're going to see me clear out that chest. I got some Sahara cards there. No real value in that, but there it is anyway. Let's see what we're looking at here. Hole and none, eh? So this guy had a 13, got hole 1. So that's what you have to look forward to. Getting hole 1. That's what it's going to take to win. Here, first 2 guys got it, third guy parred it. And that's the difference between their scores. So that should just tell you all you need to know about how important that first eagle is. But let's take a look at hole number 2. I might do it with a Kingmaker here for you guys. I have plenty of Kingmakers to go around, and I am not qualifying today. So it seems like maybe the best option. Another thing you can use for day number 1, for this hole, honestly, I think navigator is enough. You don't need a lot of side spin here. I don't care what the wind is. I don't know what it is. Oh, well, it's into the face, so you might need a little bit of that power aspect. So keep it on the Kingmaker could be a little bit better here. I like to do this hole with some backspin. And of course, when you pull back your arrow, I'm going to, recommend that you don't pull it back short of the hole, especially when you're going longer on an adjustment. That means you're going to have to go an over adjustment if you're doing that. This guy's going to probably have to go like 12 rings. And as you can see, he did it very fast. So whether or not, but judging by the way that he landed, he went at least 12 rings for sure. No question, because he was setting up to land on the fairway and then landed it on the green. So that should be all that you need to know about that. But what we're going to try to do is focus on landing on the green here, very front edge. And we're going to try to set up our spin accordingly. So let's take a look at this. As you can see, I am keeping it a little bit deep intentionally. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to be using the slope. And it does not sling down the hill quite as fast as it used to. And you can see how I'm keeping the shot trail at least 2 or 3 grid bars behind. In addition to that, you're still going to see me go at least the 9 rings here. So, 9 into the 10th ring. Great ball. Hopefully that's not the end of the world. But there you see it still landing a little short. So even with the 9-some rings, it still wasn't quite enough. And I think that has to do with, going into the power that you usually don't. Because I usually play this pretty spot on max adjustment. But that's usually for like side winds or small winds. So when you go more in towards max power, you're going to need to add on a couple rings. And as you can see, I landed it a little bit short. I am going to forfeit out of this one. But I did want to just show you kind of a good technique. And, landing it on the green is going to be, in my opinion, a very good thing. Oh, that's another thing. I did pull it one to the left, though. So that might have also influenced where I landed a little bit. But I do think it was a little bit short as well. So let me tell you how to kind of fix that. I would suggest going an extra 20% for that wind in Expert. At least going, if the wind's 9, go 11 rings. Spot on 11 rings. Like count very, you see me kind of speed through them because I'm talking. And that means that I'm not usually adjusting my shot right away. But make sure that you're going, first off, foremost, make sure that you're keeping the shot trail behind the hole like I did. Because even if I landed in that spot that I was aiming, since the wind is into the face, it's going to pull it back towards the hole. So I would have been more spot on the hole had I, hit that perfect ball, factored in all these things. But I would do an extra 20% with that wind since it's into the wind and you're going more towards max power there. Because I usually add a min power or not necessarily min, but at least 60% of, max. I'll do a full power adjustment because it's I don't know if it, influenced by the water. It doesn't really seem super downhill, but it always plays more wind on that hole. So you want to factor that in for your adjustment. At least, keep the shot trail a little bit long and go an extra 2 rings. And also, concentrate on perfect ball. If you're going to miss, try not to miss on the fringe like I did. Try to keep it into the green. So, me missing right there would have been a better miss than missing left. So I great balled to the left. So these are things that you want to keep in mind for your shots. I think they're going to help you and give you a good chance. And I do recommend landing it on the green because you're going to have a more consistent play. If you try to go for, because the way that I hit the shot to hit it close is usually off the fringe. Because I can kind of slow the ball down to where it's not running down the hill quite as fast. But they did redesign the green now. So I think the new best way is kind of going to be using the slope, But to do that, you're going to need some side spin to get that ball down towards the hole now, because it doesn't just go down the hill on its own. So keep that in mind and make sure that you're, using 4 or 5 bars of side spin as well, just to really influence that ball so it doesn't stop, because it can stop short now, which is crazy. Like the ball literally stopped short. I've had it online a couple times, and where it just didn't have enough momentum to get to the hole, and it's just kind of like, I've been playing this hole for a year now, over a year. This is one of the first holes ever created, and all of a sudden the ball's just stopping now, which is just a crazy thing to see. So keep that in mind. Like I said, go an extra 20%. Try to land on the green. These are the tips that I'm going to give you, just to kind of have consistent bounces. If you play the fringe or if you play the fairway, your hops are going to be a little bit less consistent. The way that it goes from surface to surface could end up changing from time you play it to the next time you play it. So keep that in mind. Go an extra 20%. Keep that shot arrow a little long since it's so into the wind. And good luck getting that ace. See you guys on the next one.